Let's see what happens when we try to power this one on. Absolutely nothing.
There's a switch on the back.
Here's sound. We don't have a yellow light of death. According to the old internet, we should be able to use a DualShock 4 controller on a PS3. Things seem to somewhat be working. Okay. So we are working with a PlayStation 3 today that seems to be in functioning condition, but I particularly want to take this one apart, not just to clean it, but also to experiment a little bit with some of the scratch removal or some of the cleaning that can cause scratching that I've been doing. We're going to take this sticker off here. I'm very impressed with how well it's coming off. I didn't use a heat gun, which I could have done to make it come off a little easier, but I don't plan to reuse this. I don't need to keep it. Just put a little pressure and pull that down towards us and we can remove the faceplate. There are 7 screws that we need to get out of the way here. The last one is a little bit shorter, and so we're just going to note that, set it aside, and remember to put it back in this corner. You can put your finger down in there to release that tab. Mine won't fit, so I needed to use my spudger. I'm going to lift this up carefully because there is a ribbon cable underneath here that's still attaching it. There are some different type of screws that have a finer thread that go where these M's mark it. I'll show where these ones go for later use. I definitely want to use plastic here and not metal because of working around this power supply. Just to release that, get that out of the way, unplug the power supply, and we can set that aside now. Want to be careful with the power supply not to put anything metal in any of these openings or to mess with it. This one is probably released of any charge that it had, but you always want to be careful. It can give you quite a shock. Just a little bit of pressure under here, being careful, and we can remove this entire motherboard and the shields that are attached to it. We should have unplugged that earlier. Now we can put my spudger under here to lift up on this wire to release this. What is that? I don't even know. Not too dirty for one of these fans, actually. That made a nice soap ring. I'm using a little bit more soap than normal today. I'm also going to try using a paintbrush, which I had suggested to me, and I thought it was a good suggestion. I'm just going to go ahead and clean this with these metal components on. I wanted to take this part off completely. It just wasn't happening. I experimented with another older, more broken system, and all I was doing was breaking the little clips trying to get that metal piece removed. So we're just going to clean it and dry it off quick. This is way easier to get inside of here and clean some of this stuff, and way more effective than using that little toothbrush. I hope this is satisfying to watch because it's satisfying to do with this paintbrush. Get some of the smaller stuff here with our toothbrush. Here is my experiment. I have a brand new part of the top case for a PlayStation 4. Look at how shiny and glossy that is. I want to experiment using a magic eraser on a glossy surface. I have been using a magic eraser quite a bit in my cleaning, and I have noted the many comments telling me that that's not something that I should do. It hasn't been a problem for me for the most part. However, I did realize that I have pretty much exclusively been doing matte surfaces with what I've been doing. And I'm wondering if it's the glossy surface that in particular you need to be careful about using this magic eraser on. So we're going to start here with our test control on the left. In the middle, we're just using a very light amount of pressure like I would normally clean something. And then on the right here, I'm actually going to scrub and really put some elbow grease onto it. Want to see how this comes out. So I can see kind of a haziness on it, on both of those from doing it. Let's remove the tape. Get this nice and cleaned off with some glass cleaner. And then look at what we have. So you can already tell. Even where I used a slight, very small amount of pressure there in the middle, you can see a hazy residue from the scratching that the magic eraser caused, and quite a bit there on the right. I will use this new finish Scratch Doctor to try to polish that out, and we'll see if that fixes it or if the damage that's done by the magic eraser is beyond. And now that we're done, you can see it is quite a bit better. In the middle, it's hardly noticeable, but it is there. You can see the damage that's done. So I am not going to be using a magic eraser for sure on anything glossy, and I'd caution anyone else from doing that based upon this experiment. I may still continue to use it on some matte surfaces, but with a lot more caution in the future. So definitely not perfect. There's some scratches that are not going to be helped by this, at least at this level. But I think it is a lot better. Here's what I was working with to show you again. That's what it looks like now that I'm done. First thing I'm going to do is just throw some air on this. So let's take it outside because I don't want to breathe all that dust. Now I can wipe this off with my cloth. I'm not even using isopropyl alcohol in this one, just removing the dust. I'm gonna do the same thing with this metal plate, and that's just after the air compressor. Now we'll just wipe it off. And this stuff's in pretty good shape, no rust, no water damage inside, just a simple cleaning. I use my isopropyl alcohol here to clean where the thermal paste has left residue. Just get this loosened kind of into a wet clay again, and then I should be able to wipe it up. It is kind of staining a little bit. I'm wondering if that is from my isopropyl alcohol and that maybe I shouldn't use that on this particular metal. Let me know in the comments if I'm doing this wrong. There. It feels okay, but I still can see a little bit of that oxidization or whatever that is left behind. I'm not going to take this out of here. I could remove these screws and pull it out, but I'm just going to throw air on it. Looks good enough. So the board is mostly clean. There's a few little areas here that I'm going to clean up. And then mostly I just want to work on getting this thermal paste here off the CPU and GPU. And we're getting it. There. Same treatment with the fan. Let's put air on it. You know what? I'm not even gonna wipe this with IPA. That was literally just using air. And I feel good about it. Okay, let's get it put back together. So watching other videos online, as well as reading about this, people recommend spreading the thermal paste on here with a credit card. I'm just gonna try to get an even coat on here. If I could take this back and start again, I would probably do this before putting the metal plate on so that I don't have to clean the metal plate. I also realized that thermal paste is not inexpensive, so this little bit of a waste makes me feel bad, but it's what happened this time and I learned from it. I'll just get this cleaned off and hopefully that's good. There's one of our M screws. Now we can lift this gate back up, reinsert this ribbon cable, secure it back down. We can set the disk drive in place, plug it in. Now we're gonna line up the power supply right down into where it plugs in. I do want to make sure these wires are tucked in out of the way so they're not pinched. And that should just snap on. Here's our shorter screw. And then we'll put the other ones in. It's not perfect. These PS3s really can get scuffed up pretty bad. And this light is showing everything. To the naked eye, this actually looks pretty good. Not new, but I'm happy with it. All right, it looks good, but now's the time to find out if it works or if I broke it trying to clean it. Hey, plug this DualShock 4 controller back in. Plugs the disc, it plays the disc. All right, another one down. Thanks for watching.